It's probably a good thing that I gave it a day or so before I sat down in front of the camera and talked about what I'm getting ready to talk about. Because when I first learned about this about 24 hours ago, I was hot. And had I looked at myself in the mirror at the time, I'm pretty sure I could have seen the blood rise in my own face. My friend Alan Barnes of the channel Geargasms sent me a couple of links to a couple of videos that a couple of other people had put up recently. One of them was Paul Davids, who's got a huge channel. He's over 1 million subscribers. The other one being Glenn Fricker, and I have since discovered several more on top of that. But both of these guys put up videos recently explaining how all of a sudden their videos were getting flagged for copyright reasons, and I'm talking, in some cases, videos that had been up for years. One video of Glenn Fricker's, I believe, was mentioned. He was over 5 years old, and all of a sudden it got flagged for copyright. I admit, I'm not a copyright lawyer, and I don't understand all the ins and outs and all the details of it. But from what I understand, to this point anyway, it's been perfectly okay to cover, other people's songs on YouTube. Now, in the case of Paul Davids, one of the ones, and apparently he received a bunch of emails all at the same time, like 15 of, he was, I'll link his video down below so that you can see this, as well as Glenn Fricker's. And, his all of a sudden his inbox got flooded with emails of copyright violations, and I'm not necessarily here to just stick up for those guys and what they have had to endure, because I think it's total crap. And by the way, I do think it's total crap what that these guys have had to experience this. But here recently, I myself have had a couple of my own videos flagged, and both of them have ironically had something to do where a song by my favorite band, Metallica, was featured. The first of which was if you guys remember, about a month or two ago, I put up what was probably the stupidest video I've ever done, called The Heavy Metal Kazoo. And if you didn't see that video, again, I'll provide a link down in the description, because I actually enjoyed it, and thought it was entertaining, as stupid as it was. But regardless, without spoiling it too much, it was me playing an electric kazoo, the guitar parts on an electric kazoo to various different metal songs. 8 songs, to be exact. 8 different parts of 8 different well-known heavy metal songs. Sure enough, the one at the very end, which was For Whom the Bell Tolls, was the one that forced me to receive an email from YouTube saying that none other than EMI had recognized it as copyright infringement. And all it was a drum and a bass track, and again, me, being stupid and humming the guitar parts into a kazoo for a minute or two or whatever it was. Okay, I can get on board with that, no big deal. Well, a couple weeks later, I shared my experience going to see my favorite band live and in concert, and not only in concert, but from the very front row. A dream of mine that I have always, I never thought was ever going to happen, and all of a sudden it happened. Well, while I was there, and mind you, as I was walking into this venue, I was being very mindful, looking out for signs specifically saying, that cameras were prohibited, and, no photos, no videos, no cell phones, are allowed to be used for any of those purposes, during the show. There was none of those notices anywhere inside the venue. So, and with a huge band like Metallica, it would make sense that they feel that their fans should be able to enjoy the experience and maybe take some pictures, shoot some videos and stuff, and continue to enjoy that experience, because like myself, I'm probably never going to get that again. That's probably going to be the only time I ever get to see that band in that capacity. In doing so, part of the way that I like to document those things is by sharing them with my viewers on YouTube. And all the clips in that particular YouTube video were ones that were taken with my cell phone, period. And sure enough, the copyright police came after that one too. And in both instances, particularly the second one, I am now sharing revenue with, on both of those videos. And, these revenues on these videos, they've generated pennies. They haven't gotten a whole lot of views, but, but most of them, again, they're both primarily for my own enjoyment, and because this channel is monetized, so are those videos. But the only details that they give is I am now sharing revenue, and I'm willing to bet that the split there is not 50-50 between me and the record label or anywhere near it. And I find it very convenient that they conceal that little piece of data from me, from me being able to find it easily. I'm sure I could probably find it in a legal agreement that I clicked on someplace and didn't realize, and fine print about that wide, in a paragraph about, something like that, in a document that's pages and pages and pages long of legal jargon that I will never be able to understand from the get-go anyway. Upon digging in deeper, I also learned that, YouTube creator Jared Dines was recently flagged for copyright infringement on one of his videos, and his video got flagged for no other reason other than humming, no guitars, no instruments or anything, humming the main guitar riff to Smoke on the Water, the same guitar riff that just about every guitar player on this planet learns when they are first starting out to learn to play the instrument. He hummed Smoke on the Water and all of a sudden gets flagged for copyright infringement, and that's absolutely ridiculous. I'm going to try to say what I want to say without getting too political here, because I don't want politics anywhere near my channel, which is about guitars and guitar gear. Corporations run this country with no other motivation other than corporate greed. Corporations run healthcare, they run real estate, they run insurance, they run oil, they run construction, and so many other things in this country, including government. Whether we want to admit it or not, yes, this government is run by large corporations and CEOs. And unfortunately, they also run the entertainment industry and all of its facets. Every extension of the entertainment industry is run by corporate America. Whether anybody wants to believe it or not, I own this YouTube channel, and I create every bit of content that goes up on this YouTube channel. And, whether people like it or they don't, or they love it and they subscribe, and everything that you see on this YouTube channel has been created by my own hands. I record all the audio, I shoot all the video, I do all the editing, I upload it. Which also which is a longer process than just hitting an upload button, by the way. If you're not familiar with the process, I make sure that all of the links and all of the information in the description is accurate. I make sure that the translations and a couple of other languages or other than English are available for those viewers, and on and on and on and on and on. Oh, and by the way, I also fund just about every single thing that you've ever seen on this channel. Just about every piece of gear that I've ever demoed. Not all, but most. Most every piece of gear that I've demoed on this channel has been paid for out of my own pocket. If I wanted to play Kickstart My Heart by Motley Crue, the actual recording on this channel for the purposes of background music or theme music or whatever it might be. If I wanted to use that, I would have to go and get permission, legal permission and documentation to be able to do so, and that's okay. I'm okay with that. That's their recording. If they want to, that's their recording. This is monetized. I get it. Okay, I get it. Musicians absolutely want to be paid for their work, because that's exactly what it is. This is our work. Musicians and creators and artists in general, but there is a lot of famous songs out there, and if I am trying to, for example, do a make a video, an instructional video, for example, teaching how to play a certain riff out of one of those songs, all of a sudden now I'm going to get I'm going to get flagged for copyright infringement just because I played a riff for 12 seconds of a guitar riff that is recognizable. For somebody like me, that's a big hit, because I use cover songs to demonstrate most of the gear that I demo on this channel, because I like to be able to relate said gear to a song that everybody's going to be familiar with, as opposed to some original that nobody's heard before. And yes, I understand there's the whole original versus cover band argument, and I'm not getting into that. Because I personally happen to really enjoy playing covers, and all the bands I've been in most of them anyway, have been cover bands, and I enjoy it. It's fun for me. But apparently now I'm not allowed to do that. I'm not allowed to pay homage to these other artists that have inspired me and wanted, me to learn to play, to play music like they do. And again, it is all due to corporate greed. Corporate greed. YouTube does have a process that will allow you to to tell them that, hey, this video got flagged for copyright reasons and I don't think it should have been, in which case they will they will take a closer look into it, and the claimant claiming that there was a copyright violation will come back and say yay or nay. And I have had this happen once or twice before, where the copyright infringement was in fact removed. There was one time in particular that I played an AC/DC riff in one of my videos that got flagged, and I went through the process, and within a few weeks, the copyright flag was removed from that particular video, and I once again own all the monetization to that video. These last couple of times, though, it hasn't happened, and the last time specifically is the one that really irritates me the most, because I went through the entire process, wrote a real long paragraph pleading my case why this is, why I feel this is not copyright infringement, and in fact, about a week or so later, YouTube gets back with me with a response from EMI Music saying, nope, they say that they're still right, so, you are now sharing revenue. And that was the only explanation I got. EMI, these corporate assholes at EMI, all they have to do is say, nope, we're right. He's wrong. End of story. No investigation. No, nobody could, take a half hour or so and actually, watch the video themselves that might actually understand the laws a little bit better. They just say, nope, we're right. He's wrong. That most of that money's ours. End of story. That's how it works. Literally. I don't get an explanation unless I decide that I want to pursue it again. And I do have the option to do so as a YouTube creator. Now, there is also a warning at those little question mark icons inside the circle, question mark inside the circle icons. There's one of those right next to it, right next to the link that you would click to do this. And what that link says, you can do this, but if you lose, again, now you got a copyright strike against you. So, as I mentioned, I am one guy. I do everything on this channel myself. EMI, on the other hand, is a pretty large Music and Entertainment Corporation. And if I decide that I want to pursue it again, I'm quite sure they're going to come back with the same answer. I will now have a copyright strike, which the next course of action from that point on would be legal action. And the reason why this upsets me as much as it does is because these corporate cocksuckers are taking advantage of the copyright laws. And in the process, they're taking advantage of it because they know somebody, a creator like me, is never going to be able to pursue it any further than that, because I would bankrupt myself in legal fees. And as Glenn Fricker said in his video about this, I am going to bankrupt myself in legal fees long before it ever sees the inside of a courtroom. And quite honestly, I hope I don't get copyright infringement just for quoting Glenn Fricker in this video. It's wrong, it's immoral, it's corrupt, and I'm tired of it. Me by myself, there's nothing I can do about it. I just got to accept it. A few other creators and musicians and artists that have suffered from this, standing right beside me, even 4 or 5 of us still aren't going to be able to do much. But, I'm hoping one day somebody will have the resources to be able to tackle this. And in the meantime, all of us united together, there are a lot more musicians and a lot more artists than there are corporate CEOs. Unfortunately, as long as the corporations are holding all of the money, and they do hold all of the money, there's not really a whole lot that, especially guys like me, can do about it. So, in order to fight the good fight, so to speak, the one thing that I can do that the corporations nor YouTube can take away from me is speak my mind. And I am more than free to speak my mind in my own opinion, which is what this is right here on YouTube's platform. They have not taken that away from us yet. And I do say us because this is a community, and I know that I am not the only one affected. God, this frosts my ass. What really upsets me about this is, and not for 1 second do I want this to happen, but I don't see these, bigwig corporate CEO assholes, sending their lawyers into every bar in this country that has a cover band playing that night, who is, and that cover band is getting paid, in most cases pretty well, to play other people's songs. And they're doing it every single night. And that, by the way, I am absolutely in favor of that. No complaints about people making money playing music here, whether it's, live or otherwise. But, I don't, it just, I don't, maybe it's because I'm not a lawyer and I don't, and I don't, understand all the ins and outs and the rules and laws and all that kind of stuff. But, it just seems to be very, very focused on the easy targets, which are, creators on platforms like YouTube. And it's too bad, too, because YouTube has given a lot of artists a pretty wide reach and allowed a lot of people to discover a lot of really, really talented people, and not just in music. There's creators in other genres on YouTube that I enjoy and I watch all the time. And there's also plenty of creators in this genre that I enjoy and watch all the time, and we're all being affected. It's frustrating. It's really, really frustrating. And, hopefully I have managed to get through this entire video with, without dropping an F-bomb, because I don't want to get demonetized for that. But, it has... It's really, really frustrating, it's really frustrating because, as I mentioned already, the corporations are, the corporations are using their power and also using the fact that they know that I am just too small to be able to do anything about it. That's the world we live in today, folks. So, by all means, if you agree with anything that I have said in this video, if you have any insight to any of this, and I know the Article 13 thing over in Europe has a big part in this, but by all means, please share your opinions down in the comments, and and if you agree with me even a little bit, please share this video. Let's get the word out, and I don't know that anything will happen or will get done or not, but at least raise awareness to everybody in the music community. There's a lot of hardworking musicians out there, and quite honestly, most of us that create music or create content of some kind as part of their living just got screwed, or potentially did anyway, depending on what it is that they create, I guess. But there's a lot of the gaming channels just got hit because now all of a sudden they can't stream footage of them playing playing a copyrighted video game. Probably shouldn't quote a movie anytime soon either. I don't want the script writer to get mad and have their legal team flag my channel. So I don't know. I'm done. Oh yeah, one more thing. For the CEOs of EMI and Warner Music Group and Elektra Records and Geffen Records and all of those other big time record labels that this video is speaking directly to, this is for you.